viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got a 2012 Toyota Prius. I should have changed the wheel bearing. These are pretty much a gravy job, and just about like any other wheel bearing that we do. So Toyota's pretty famous for using their 12 point, what is this, a 29 or something? 30 millimeter 12 point on their axle nuts. You gotta take that off. You can probably knock this stake mark out of it if you want to. But we'll see if the impact's got enough mustard here to take it off. That looks a little bit hot. Smoking. Don't touch it. Ooh, even the socket's toasty. So on these, you should always get a new nut. So these are the kind that are staked on. You know, so likely when you go to torque it back, it's going to end up pretty much at the same spot. And of course, you know, you could have cleaned off all the rust and stuff that's on the axle shaft first. If you want to, makes it come off a little easier, or I could have got an impact a little more pizzazz. So now we're going to take the old caliper and bracket off. Old zippy zat. I think that's the wrong size, son. Find the right size tool, like 17 mil, something like that. So I'll just leave the caliper right in its bracket. Taking, see if we can catch you inside this rotor a little bit. Push the piston in slightly. That way it'll come off nice and easy. Just set it there for right now. Remove our rotor. And we're changing these bearings because they're noisy. Super noisy. So we're gonna a little 2 to some Panther Pea here for what it's worth. And I'm gonna get something to hang our caliper, because when we start bashing on this thing, we don't want our caliper to come crashing down and the pads fall out. You know the story. Let's use a little piece of wire here. Get the pigtail out of it. We'll just hang it right up here on the strut. There, it'll be out of our way. And then I like these ones because these are just bolt-on. So the older Priuses, they were pressing bearings, which were a little bit more difficult. I don't know what generation this Prius is, but I don't keep track of all that stuff. Get them cracked loose, and then we'll just zip them out. The old air exit, the old 1182, still rocking it. Got a couple of these things now. I love this little guy. Start to tighten back up. There she goes. What you mean? Spin her around and we'll get the other two. Again, we'll just crack them loose and then buzz them out with the air ratchet. Sometimes with the rust build up on the outside of them, once you crack them loose, you give them another little 2 to some good stuff. That way when them rusty threads get pulled through, they don't get jammed up on you. There we are. Now, it's the moment y'all been waiting for. Time to bust out Big Nasty, get me some PPE on. Awesome brake pad. Being mean. Struggle's real, folks. She always wins, every time. She ain't lost a fight yet. And there it is. So you gotta be careful once it cracks loose. You don't want to keep applying the beans because you have the speed sensor that sticks in there. And if you keep wailing on it and this axle comes through and it's seized on the axle, at that point, you just bought yourself a speed sensor. So we've got the magnetic pickup ring on the inside, so be careful. Big Nasty, she's the destroyer. A little bit of corrosion, that's all it is. A little bit of salt, a little bit of aluminum, a little bit of steel. Got a little bit of collateral damage here we got to kind of straighten out a smidge. New. We'll clean out some of that corrosion. Put your tin shield where you won't forget it. if you're going through the rotary file, don't hit that little guy. And don't grind away the aluminum, obviously. Just get the corrosion. What are you looking at? The back of my head? Clean off the face. And then we've got the moment that everyone's really been waiting for. The true moment, the most awaited for part of every video, the brake clean. Good stuff. I swear it could cure the common cold. Or give you one. I'm not sure which. And there we have it. You get the new bearing, where I put it. Before we slip the new one in, we'll give her a little shot of some Crown. After I visited Crown, I had my truck done, I picked up some of their product. This is their T40. Just want to try this stuff out in place of the fluid film that we normally use, just to kind of see long term how it holds up. Of course, stuff I used in the beginning, they also make a penetrating oil, so I was kind of, I don't know the part number on this, but just kind of checking some stuff out, get a feel for it. New hub should slip right in without having to force it. Just kidding, guys. I'm not forcing it. Just gotta get it lined up right. We'll grab the bolts. Get it lined up with a tin shield. Let them up in the bearing. And get them all in before you tighten them down. Yeah, push your axle in to get them past the axle. There. I'd use an extension on this one. I do. A little extension on these. Reach back behind the hub. Started. Use a little ratchet. Make sure you start them by hand before you go nailing them with air tools. There. Get my socket back. There. Now just go around them even so it doesn't get all jammed in there sideways. And then the beans can be administered. course, we'll torque that to factory spec. Like I say, always replace the nut. Now the new nuts that I've got some Beck Arley ones here, actually a 6-point, and they go from instead of being a 30, or whatever we said it was, a 32, what are they now, 34 or something maybe? Where's my socket? Let's see. 30, no, they're still 32. What is that? What is this? This is a 30, a ding dong. The new ones are 32, so we'll give that a little toot on its threads also. Of course, we'll torque that to spec. And I never give you guys the torque specs because you should have a manual if you're doing this. And that'll have all your torque specs published, so you're not taking my word for it. Get a pry bar. You can do this after you set the vehicle on the ground, I imagine. Or after you put the brake rotor on. Sometimes I'll just use a bar in here and just get it done. Probably should have got a longer bar. She's tight. And then a lot of cranking going on out there. Some guy broke down on his tractor. Come in to borrow a bucket and a blow nozzle. So then we just got to stake it down in the open groove of the axle. It's kind of like the cotter pin, you know? So we'll give her a little rust proof in here. That way when it goes bad in a few years, we can easily get that back off. And grab a rag. Probably help save this backing plate a little bit there. We'll slip the rotor on. Fairly new, no gobbledygooks on the inside there. So stick that up there. Use our old axle nut as our spacer. Almost back to where we started. Ooh, one more time, double whammy. Get our greasy mitts off there. Grab the brake pad. Our outer pad fell out when we were jamming on the big nasty there. So we'll have to get that slipped back in the hardware, hopefully without having to pull the caliper off. So he's got these little spring retainers on the hardware, which can be kind of tricky. Let's see if we can't do that. What? Like a pro. Slip that back over. Put the bolts in, torque it to spec. It's like every video I struggle with the caliper mounting bracket of all things. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Save that, 'cause these are handy for rotor holders. I have a bazillion of them sitting around here. It already has quite a bit of grease on the hub, so we'll toss the tire up on, torque it down, take it for a toot, call it a day. And there you have it, folks, front hub assembly on your Prius. Don't forget to pump up the brakes and torque your wheels and torque everything. Take it for a toot. Make sure it's quiet. Make sure the ABS light doesn't come on. And then you're done ski. Move on to the next one. And that's what I got to keep doing. I got to keep moving. Make sure you guys subscribe. Check us on our socials. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.